16th of March, lockdown imminent. We have been washing hands for days now, and our skin is cracking. The world is very quiet, very calm. This is going to be the last day of near normality. 19th of March. Home is the only place of safety. Outside I can see the red stain of the virus spattered on every surface. Railings have scarlet patterns and walls festooned as if with berries. The world is exactly as it was, but with another sinister invisible mask slotted right on top that has iced the one we know with danger. In a shop, a queue of people sways silently, each with armfuls of food and expressionless eyes above their masks. 20th of March. A blast of noise from the primary school is shocking as kids clamber over each other and occasionally collide joyfully. It is a patch of the world not touched yet by the virus. 23rd of March, lockdown. I feel trapped. My tiny baby is only really going to see my face, be isolated in the world just as his world starts to open up. The other bank of the river has people walking along it, but they are in another country, so far away, even though I can see the colour of their hair and what they carry. 24th of March. A shop has its doors open. It is a shop I have been in many times before, but now it is forbidden. Someone we saw on Saturday has the virus. I spend hours logging symptoms. I study the baby's tiny face. I want to prepare, somehow, for when, inevitably, we and then the baby all get the illness and home is transformed into a blurred, sick version of its current self. 25th of March. Walking around Canary Wharf, looking through the windows of closed office space feels post-apocalyptic. A disaster movie before the lions and looters have got into town. Someone's fleece hanging on the back of a chair, a plastic cup with a pink highlighter. All the people are gone. 26th of March. The world is so empty it is eerie. The sun sparkles on the calm water. No boats go past. We are on the roller coaster now, eyeballing the descent, but we don't know when it's going to hit. The baby smiles at me. 27th of March. Walking. A bowling green. An old mortuary with burnt-out roof timbers like a skeleton. A raised walkway above the park with a dedication from 1922. Wildlife proliferates. The birds dance for mates, build nests. Cats under a bush yowl.
If I had a time machine, I would go back to London in the 1920s, when T.S. Eliot lectured on the poetry of the soul, or the 1960s, when David Bowie experimented with the fluidity of personas. But I can only stand here and now, drawing a fragment of an ancient forest.
1st of April. Vaccinations. The doctor's surgery is covered in bright red stop signs. The reception desk has a thick sheet of plastic hanging in front of it. The waiting room feels abandoned, cold. 6th of April. Drunks are pretending to exercise in their usual park. Can in one hand, they do dips on the benches with the other. People who pause are viewed with suspicion. A mother and daughter make daisy chains. 7th of April. Flats seem like cages, families trapped together inside, shoes lined up in the porch. The air feels restless, with all the people hiding behind their curtains. 11th of April. We enter the metal box of a lift. Buttons glisten with menace. The baby's eyes flick open wide, showing the whites. 13th of April. A kind of malaise has fallen on us. What is the point? The baby is fractious and unhappy. My partner seems rolled thin like pastry, so you can see through him. 15th of April. When you can feel sun on your skin, can you really believe in a virus holding death? A girl rubs sun oil onto the mahogany back of a man. Lycra cyclists shoot past too close, while teenagers lounge past on Boris bikes. 21st of April. Food queues. Huge lines of bored people in masks fiddling with their phones. Snorts and wheezes of joggers as they shunt by. We see boys hanging out in corners, passing a spliff by a staircase. Where are the girls? 23rd of April. The wind catches me and makes me want to leap about and run up hills. Playgrounds are forlorn, wrapped in orange or forbidding council branding. 27th of April. How can any of us impose meaning on something as meaningless as this virus? Our politicians don't have the capacity. Sunbathing has become a bête noire. Most people sunbathing are just stopped in the sun, paused on the grass mid-walk. We need to stop. 28th of April. Canary Wharf. Empty but for construction workers. All the restaurants closed, all the pubs closed, all the stores shut, nobody is here. The DLR shuttles through. All of the office blocks tower above us and are empty. They loom, strange edifices to meaningless work.
Do you know how the sky turns dark? It's the cerulean blue mixed with a touch of red and a touch of umber. A little bit more, a little bit more. Do you know how the moon rises? It's your eyes wandering back to the desk from the schoolhouse of memory and glancing up the window. Do you know how the night falls? It's the unwashed dishes in the sink, the quiet hum of the refrigerator, and the space after the music suddenly stops.
3rd of May. Where have the homeless people gone? Some are up a cul-de-sac off Cable Street, more on Commercial Road, with no teeth, thin limbs and a man in a wheelchair. What happens to their world when everything else collapses? 4th of May. There is a whirring of bike chains behind me on the narrow Thames path. A black bike with spongy wheels glides through and is followed by more and more, boys pulling wheelies with black masks on. 8th of May. Things are fraying around the edges. I don't trust the government, don't trust the papers, don't trust anything, and yet I find myself dropping my guard. 9th of May. We are getting lax. It is hard to remember when the breeze touches you gently on the shoulder. The air is sweet with fruit and tinged with the bitter aftertaste of barbecue. A single boat on the river spreads a wake that lasts for minutes, bouncing side to side. 14th of May. It is like someone has struck a tiny match and days are catching alight. Canary Wharf rings with drills. There are men everywhere, cleaning, mopping, sweeping, picking up rubbish. Corporate branding tells us to keep 2 metres apart. But on the tube, how can you keep your distance? 21st of May. There is a secret drinking hole. A neighbour has started disappearing each afternoon and returning so drunk he can barely walk. A takeaway alcohol shop has drinkers propping up the bar. It was raided last week, but the police accepted there was nothing going on. 24th of May. At the beginning of lockdown, we yelled birthday songs across the marina. Now it is corralled by WhatsApp. Today we sing from the bank by Pontoon F, and then later they come and sing for me. Having a birthday in lockdown is strange. Small elements of excitement come with presents and a giant cake, but in essence the unvaried monotony continues, the dullness apocalypse. 26th of May. Outside the Tesco at Cross Harbour, the men in high-vis sprawl on the floor and walls, like a lurid bouquet of flowers jostling together. 27th of May. Today I am miserable. Time is grinding by so slowly. The weight of the pandemic feels at its greatest when we're not sure it's ever going to end. Our lives, as we knew them, are gone.
Burning cascade head, a dance of renewal, a dance that neighbours know, was always danced here, at the edge of things, on the brink, on the foggy coast. Ursula K. Le Guin.
The old man reads the obituaries every day. Religiously, he cut them out from the newspapers, put on the walls, from the study to the bedroom, from the bedroom to the living room, from the living room to the kitchen. But the kitchen is the territory of his wife, whose fire cooked a dish of sweet and sour fish.
First of June. Life has become very confusing. Some people have entirely abandoned social distancing and stand in the middle of pavements. We look like uptight idiots driving the pram in wide loops over the road. 2nd of June. Thursday's cheer for the NHS is better in daylight. At the beginning it was just clapping and boat horns honking in the dark, and now you can look around the whole marina basin and see people on every balcony. 5th of June. In lockdown there are no destinations. You can't go to the shops and everywhere else is closed. There are no places to go, so each walk feels aimless. Everything feels without purpose. We are trapped in a bubble formed by the edges of how far we can walk. 8th of June. As I walk along Poplar High Street, a loud bell sounds in the primary school to get kids in after break. It blares out into the semi-deserted street. Right as the evening was ending, we hear the boo for Boris. 16th of June. Life is so tiring, I have forgotten what's happening. Leo sleeps and then doesn't sleep all night. Corona continues on in the background like a niggle I can't get at. 20th of June. Today we sit in St Anne's as usual, but it doesn't feel comfortable. A man sits on a bench and reads a newspaper. His face is blank, but somehow accusatory. I feel like I am invading his space. St Anne's has felt mine during lockdown, but maybe now things are easing, he is hoping for people like me to go away. 24th of June. We sit under a tree in the park as the only place to go that is cool. Nearby, a couple have takeaway beers from the grapes. Our takeaway food is greasy and slightly squalid. It is lovely. 25th of June. People are reclining on lilos floating in the marina. Facebook urgently lists all the things they will die of before COVID gets them. Shadwell Basin is probably packed with young wet bodies. 26th of June. I dream inflamed with paranoia. No one will keep their distance. I wake up with dirty hands I have to wash over and over. 29th of June. Lockdown is still here, but we feel like we are reaching the end. Who is COVID killing? No one I know has died, yet. 30th of June. Our lockdown bubble has popped, and the stale air is leaking out. Are we free?
In St Anne's churchyard, an old man with a face mask is making his rounds. Rosary in one hand, counting. 1 for the chirping of birds. 2 for the sirens at a distance. 3 for the broken glass rolling by his foot. He looks down, and amidst the daisies blooming in the wild,